Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Sam here. Welcome back to another video. Hey, today's a big day if you're an AirPods Pro owner and you have, I don't know, maybe had some issues. See, since AirPods Pro have been out, there have been, oddly enough, like so many positives. So many people love them. So many people think they're the greatest wireless earbuds. But there's been this small but ever-present subset of users that have been basically complaining about two things that today Apple has finally addressed. I think almost 1 year exactly after AirPods Pro came out. Yeah, I think it was October 30th last year that they were released as well, one day ahead of everybody's favorite spooky holiday. The first issue that people started experiencing coincidentally happened when a new AirPods firmware came out. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's just the firmware. That's why my noise cancellation is weakened. Like weakened noise cancellation, especially on trains and planes, environments that used to be completely silent on day one with AirPods Pro suddenly were kind of loud. You have to keep in mind, like noise cancellation is the headlining feature for AirPods Pro. So for that to be malfunctioning, a lot of people were like, that's a little weird. I guess I'll just wait for a software update. But the reason I bought these, it's not working as advertised or expected. Like you've seen that Apple ad where the woman just walks around town. Apple loves these like fantasy sci-fi ads where everybody's a fairy and they're dancing around and everybody's holding hands. And a part of that ad was noise cancellation being really good. The second issue that AirPods users have been having is noises like crackling and popping, specifically while on phone calls, but also in some other contexts as well. So those are two pretty big issues. Like these are $250 earbuds. They're not cheap, and a lot of people love them. So it's like for a year, people on and off, it died down a little bit recently. They've been like, hey, my AirPods, something's up with AirPods Pro. And keep in mind, AirPods 2 have been plagued by none of these issues. Like AirPods 2, I have not heard a peep about issues. I have not experienced them myself. I have not heard from friends that there are problems with AirPods 2. And that's probably because, well, this is a new design. Like AirPods Pro was a big change for how AirPods look, feel, and work. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the actual repair program for AirPods Pro because it's pretty good. It took Apple a while to get here, and I have to critique them for that because I have a feeling that they've known about this for a while, but we are here. We have an official repair program, and it's a pretty good one. So to have your AirPods eligible for this, you have to have A, crackling or static sounds that increase in loud environments with exercise or while talking on the phone. Already mentioned that one. Second, active noise cancellation, ANC for short, not working as expected, such as a loss of bass sound or an increase in background sounds, such as street or airplane noise. That is, again, one that has affected a lot of people. If any of you have bought AirPods Pro and you've noticed active noise cancellation not as good as when you first got AirPods Pro, reach out to Apple. And you might be wondering how to do that. We'll jump into that in just a second. There are two very important footnotes here, where if you read between the lines, you start to get a bit of an inside glimpse as to what was happening with AirPods. Because notice how a second ago I said, if any of you, and wasn't like, well, just specific models and years and months and makes. Apple says that every AirPods Pro ever manufactured up until this month, so we're talking 365 calendar days of AirPods Pro production, are potentially going to have these issues. Now, Apple says it's a small subset of users, which is how they always phrase things, and it probably is. I don't necessarily doubt that they're telling the truth there. I do find it really interesting, though, that they didn't stop it at some point. You might remember like the iPhone 6, I think, had some issue or ghost touch on the iPhone 10, and they were like, oh, these models, these dates, they on their end, they're like, these factories, these production lines, these had the issues. But this is every pair of AirPods Pro, and that's why I think this is a big deal, and that's why I'm especially covering this, because guess when Apple put this story out? Through a small update on a niche page on their website, 5 p.m. on a Friday in Central Time, or 3 p.m., I think, their time. So at the end of the workday. When does Apple hold events? At the beginning of the week, midday, so they can get lots of press coverage. It's a bit disingenuous, Apple. I get it. Listen, I'm a comm major. Guys, I hold a college degree. I have a bachelor's degree in communication. So I get what Apple's doing here. They don't want, floods of people doing this all at once or I would argue, at all. But they are offering the program, and it's pretty good because it covers all AirPods 2 years after the retail date. So technically, if you bought AirPods through October of this month, I think, yeah, 2 years from now. So October of 2022, you can still get these issues fixed free of charge. It's sort of, think of it as an extended warranty. Apple says it's clearly not. It's a different program. It's basically an extended warranty. So if you have issues, reach out to Apple and get them corrected. How do you do that? Well, you have to reach out to Apple support directly. There is no limited range. There is no what's the word? Select batch. It could technically be anybody that bought AirPods Pro. Like, I think my noise cancellation is still a bit off. I'm going to reach out to Apple and see what happens. Maybe this will correct more stuff that's happened with AirPods Pro that, I've just been like, oh, that's odd or that's weird. So I'm going to be reaching out to Apple. You do this by going to Apple support, say, hey, I'd like to participate in this program. Be very clear that you are having one of these issues. If you're not, Apple's going to diagnose these. And it's cool. We actually just saw a brand new AirPods tool that they are shipping out to service centers and Apple stores, where you put the little buds inside of this little container, and it's going to measure the frequencies or response times of highs, mids, lows. It's pretty cool. This is a new tool that Apple shipped out. So it looks like this is basically in preparation of, an influx, potentially, a potential influx of AirPods Pro devices. So again, if you have AirPods 2, you're fine, no issues, you're good to go. I mean, if you have an issue with them, reach out to Apple, but this is a specific repair program for AirPods Pro. Last detail that I want to hit on is that Apple is saying that any AirPods could be affected up until this month, manufactured up until October of 2020, which leads me to believe that this is a hardware issue, meaning that no amount of software updates or firmware changes or new features like spatial audio will fix this. Conversely, that means that I think that there is a tweaked hardware version of AirPods Pro that is now starting to ship out to people, or that has been in production and will go out, maybe starting in the next week or so. If Apple's saying every hardware model through this month is affected, it insinuates that they've fixed the issue in the production of AirPods Pro so that this will not happen any longer. If you buy AirPods starting November 1st, well, you should be getting the new hardware with the new features or new design, new tweak, and not necessarily new features, but new changes to institute not needing to be a part of this program. So I thought that was interesting. It seems like we have an AirPods sort of 1.1 hardware going out there, which would be interesting. I'm almost should I try to pick some up and see if there is any subtle changes in AirPods Pro? There probably aren't, because Apple would have announced them, but it seems like maybe this new hardware version of AirPods does fix some issues. So send your AirPods in 100%, get them checked out, and let me know down below in the comment section how that experience goes, if you've already done it, or if you are having some of these issues. I'm curious how widespread this issue really is, because I don't, by any metric or suggestion, believe that this is most AirPods Pro. I just find it suspicious that it affects every model a year after they were initially unveiled. It's a bit odd. I haven't seen a repair program like this just yet. So Apple's done a good job. They're covering it far into the future, up until October of 2022 if you just bought your AirPods this month. So you are future-proofed on this for some time. Did it take longer than it should have to get this addressed? Yeah, it did. It took longer than it should have. But I don't know. Better late than never. Can we apply that here? Should I cut Apple some slack, or should I just be like, no, this is ridiculous. I'm really thirsty and I don't have any water. And that's the repair program. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Hey, if you live in the US, last footnote here. Have you heard about the election coming up? It's a big deal. It is going to be the most important election of my lifetime. I know that for sure. So tell your friends, tell your family, get out and vote, make a plan on or before Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd. This is a privilege, guys. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this. Drop a like if you did. Hit subscribe for more. AirPods Pro repair program is here to stay.